Hi guys, welcome back to the workshop. Bit of a slightly different angle on today's video. Not directly aero modelling, but it's a new tool that we've got in the workshop, and by the thumbnail you can probably tell what it is. It's a 3D printer. The 3D printer that we've bought is a CR-10 Smart from Creality. I'll put links below to where I bought it from. No affiliate links or anything like that in this one. Not sponsored or anything like that. It's just where I was recommended to buy it from. So, why have I got a 3D printer? Well, it's something I've been looking at for probably the last 3 or 4 years, to be honest, but just never pulled the plug on buying one. Not pulled the plug, no, hit the button to go and buy one. It's just, there's always something else going on. Whereas now I've got a need outside of YouTube and whatnot for a printer, so I thought I'd go and get one. And this video is basically just my opening thoughts on this printer. With 3D printing, for those that don't know, you've got to create an electronic file which you then send to the printer, and it interprets it and it sends it to mechanical movements, prints it out. Plastic filament in this case, through a hot nozzle to 0.4 of a millimetre diameter, and in layers of 0.2 of a millimetre. So it's really quite delicate stuff. So before getting to actually printing stuff, I've actually had to learn how to 3D model items in Fusion 360, and then how to get them into the slicing software to then create the G-code to send it to the printer. And we're talking, how long have I had this printer now? A week? I think it's a week that it's been here now, and that's all the time I've had to learn everything. So needless to say, there's been some failures. I might well put some bits in the video just now showing failures and whatnot. The first failure was probably my fault. The part of 3D printing, you've got to make sure the bed that it prints onto is level. This particular printer has got an auto bed leveling system, and I did it when the bed was cold. Now, like anything that's hot and cold, it changes its shape and form and whatnot with temperature. So doing it cold will be different to when it's hot, and because it operates at a heated bed temperature, I had to then re-level the bed after the failure when it was hot, because I did it when it was cold. So that was a massive learn. But again, it's all part of the process as far as I'm concerned. So that printed out quite a few good prints, some of which are here. So these are just basic tip fins for a flying wing. I don't know how well it will pick up on the camera. You might see like hexagon type patterns in there. That's the infill, so it's actually not solid. But again, that was learnt on 2 different files. That's not solid. Some of them in here, the earlier ones, are solid, and they're only probably 3mm thick. So perfectly good for purpose, for what I want to do as tip fins. They're light, they're strong, durable. But again, they were just relatively quick prints. Now, where's the other one gone? Something else that I've printed is that. It's a mount for a flight controller to go into a wing. It's something I needed. Not a reason for buying the printer, but it's something I needed. So I thought I'd print it and see what happens. Now, I actually printed 4 in one go, and part way through the first layer process, one of them caught the first ring round and pulled it off. So the bottom side of it isn't quite perfect, but it's still perfectly usable. So again, relatively quick. That's all solid, apart from obviously the holes that are there. The actual material itself is solid. Again, about 3, maybe 4mm thick. So all a learning curve. So then I started going and looking at bigger prints and things like that. And this is where I had my first sort of awakening, discovery as to how I was going wrong, or that I was going wrong. One of the reasons for getting the printer of this size, this is 300 by 300mm bed area. I think it goes to 400mm high. There's specific things out of YouTube and modelling that I want to print that need that size. I'll put some photos and whatnot in as I go along to describe what's happened, but basically the first part got to basically about 20mm, maybe 25mm high from the bed, and all started parting company. The layers weren't sticking and it just wasn't going well, so I stopped that. The first part of it seemed to work fine. A lot of research, a lot of YouTube watching, a lot of asking friends, and one of the guys that I've spoken to, he's been printing since printers were first developed, I think. He said get the nozzle temperature up and the bed temperature down for the particular material I'm using. I'm using bog standard PLA. As soon as I did that, everything has been printing so much better. But what I stupidly did was I started reprinting a relatively big print again. So this is the first one that failed. I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but these are the layers that parted company. And then exactly the same print, but it got a lot further this time. But even this one, it completed the print this morning when I came out, it completed, but this mid bit here hasn't stuck properly. So as it stands just now, what we've actually got, and I'll actually show you, we've actually got another file running, which is a quicker file to print, but it's using all the same settings as the other one, which those settings aren't designed for this particular file. All I'm using this for is to see if at the same height it starts losing its the interlayer. If the layers start splitting out at the same height, it means I'll be able to discover the problem sooner. If it does do it, well, I've got to figure out how to sort that problem out. And to be honest, I don't know quite how I'm going to sort that out. As I said, this is the CR-10 Smart. Now, I've tried updating the firmware in it, and it doesn't seem to like it for some reason. I don't know quite why yet. Again, it's something else I've got to research. I don't know if that's causing a problem. I think the part is actually cooling down too much when it gets to that height, so that's why the layers aren't sticking. If that's the case, I need to be able to control the fan speed to slow the fan down to stop it cooling so much, and I can't do that. It's either on or off. There's no proportionality to it. On the slicing software, you can adjust the fan speed, and I've tried that, and I'm now running what I think is a slower fan speed, because I've enabled fan control and this, that and the other, but it doesn't seem to be doing it at the printer. So I'm kind of a bit stuck just now. I'm literally treading water until this print gets to a stage where it's either finished and good, or it fails. But that's just my sort of opening thoughts really on my experience of 3D printing. The printer itself is amazing. From the point of opening the box to the point of putting my first print, setting the print going, was 45 minutes. And I think it was like within the hour I had my first print done, which was your bog standard calibration cube. The print came out perfectly. There's no errors, no nothing. At that stage, that was before I discovered everything else started getting bigger. So I was really happy with that. The build quality of the printer is good. Everything's solid. Everything works as it should. The only thing I don't like is the spool holder, because it's a bit flimsy, and it's the way it sort of sits there, and how the idea is that it swings in when it's not being used, but because it's got that swing on it, it's a bit lacking in support, shall we say. But that is the only thing so far that I've found that might be a problem. The only other problem, which is actually a good problem in 3D printing terms, is the adhesion stuff sticking to the bed. a little bit. No, not adhesive. A word I can't think of for it. But things sticking to the bed while printing. These stick like something to a blanket, and it's actually a bit of a pain in the backside to actually get them off. So from making things stick, it's great, but from actually getting them off, it's a pain in the backside. It might be because it's brand new, it hasn't broken in yet. No, there might be a coating on there that wears after a period of time. But time will tell. So yeah, this is really just a quick raw video of a new tool that I've got here, and some of the problems I'm facing straight away. If anybody wants to comment on what I've said, offer advice, happily listen to it. As I've spent hours, literally hours, researching the problems and what I've had. I've even been speaking to a chap in New Zealand, and if you happen to be watching this, you know who you are. Thank you very much. So yeah, 3D printing, should have done it a lot sooner, like years ago. If you want to get a printer, get one, but do your research. Spend your time finding out what's the right one for you. This is the right one for me because of the size of build volume that it's got. It'll be absolutely perfect once I get to the bottom of all the little problems I've got. So yeah, as I said, any comments, any questions, put them below. If this is something that you're interested in, let me know. I do intend to do a couple of videos and put them into a playlist on printing to sort of kind of keep it all tied together. But this won't be a common video theme, shall we say. I have had a request from somebody that we 3D print some models and some particular types. Again, that will come as a build as opposed to a tool, which this is. I'm starting to waffle a bit now, so I'll probably end this video here. As I say, if you're liking this sort of content and whatnot, give us a thumbs up. If you're not, let me know, tell me why and we'll change it. If you're not already, subscribe to the channel and tick the notification bell when you get a notification when I put a video up. But from myself and Ewan, who's covering in the background, we'll catch you all later.